Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Cabela's, Easton Arrows, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Hoyt, Hoyman Tree Saws, Muddy Outdoors, Nikon, Ozonics, Redneck Blinds, Rocket Broadheads, RTP Outdoors, Trophy Rock, Spot Hog Releases, Wilderness Athlete, Viking Solutions, and Realtree.
Thanks for joining me today for the 2017 Midwest Whitetail Main Show first episode. This is the 10th anniversary of the Midwest Whitetail series going on the web. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the season coming up too. In the preview there, we showed you several of the bucks that we've found this summer. And some of those deer are on my farm and I'll be hunting them. Some of them are on public land and the public land crew will be going after those. I'm excited about a couple deer and I'll talk about those in the next episode. But today I want to talk about what I'm doing here. And this is a food plot that we started last year, back in 2016. We came in with chainsaws, cleaned out the bigger trees, knocked them down, used the tractor and pushed those off the field. Chad came in with a tool to remove the stumps. Chad Lathrop and popped those out. So we got the stumps out of here. Then I thought it'd be a good opportunity to test the plow down clover. So the strategy here back in the spring was to till this up, plant it to plow down clover, which is a Frigid Forage product, and then come back again at this time of the year, late summer, first part of August, and mow it down and then till it in. And the advantage that you have with the plow down clover is the nitrogen that it puts into the soil. And depending upon how much green forage that you have, you can get as much as 50 to even 75 units of nitrogen just by incorporating the plow down clover. In this plot, the plow down clover, I mean, it looked really good early in the summer. Then it got really dry. And I think a lot of deer moved in on this and ate the clover. There was some there for sure, and we definitely tilled it in, but there wasn't as much there as what there had been earlier in the summer. So I went ahead and put quite a bit of urea in with it. So then we're coming in now and just got done planting the Big N Beasty in this plot on top of the ground. And it's nice and porous. There's supposed to be a rain coming tonight, so it should pound that seed down and get a really nice seed bed here for really perfect germination of the Big N Beasty. So this spot with the redneck blind down in this bottom should be a centrally located, really attractive food plot for a couple of the bucks that I'm going to be going after. I just wanted to introduce you to this concept of plow down clover and give you a update on this food plot. And now that there's a blind here, I really feel like this could be a really killer spot for me this fall. It sets down in the valley, so I didn't feel comfortable coming in here with the tree stand. There's going to be too much swirling on most wind directions. But you're better off being in a blind where you can close all the windows except one, run the ozonics, and basically you can get away with hunting spots that you never could using any other type of strategy. In this last segment, I'm going to touch on a topic that's going to be fairly common over the next few episodes of the Midwest Whitetail series, and that is how to deal with this drought. And it's not everywhere, it's kind of spotty. Different parts of Iowa even have sufficient rainfall that the crops look really good. Even parts of southern Iowa look pretty good. But right here where I'm at, we have not had a decent amount of rain since probably the early part of June. So I'm standing in a plot here. This is on Scott Prucha's farm, and we've got the non-typical wildlife fence around this plot. But you can see the stuff that's right behind me. The beans aren't doing very well at all, and this is inside the fence where the deer can't get to them. So you can imagine on the outside of the fence where if you get any amount of browse pressure at all, the beans just can't outgrow the pressure from the deer. So they just clean you out. Just the least amount of browsing pressure at all keeps these plants from catching up and growing. Normally you get enough rain and the beans can more or less outgrow deer. You're going to have some spots where it's a really small field tucked in close to the woods or something like that, for example, where the deer are going to be able to hammer it no matter what. And those are the kind of spots where I normally will put the non-typical Wildlife Solutions hot zone fence, like the one that Scott's got here. And I missed the opportunity this year. I kind of messed that up because on my place now, I don't have any really good soybean plots. I just missed the window. I guess I wasn't paying attention, or I wasn't here or something, and just never got it done. But we'll talk more, like I said, in the upcoming episodes about this and how you can rescue those spots. There are things you can do, putting Big N Beasty into those areas, and we'll look at that again next week as a way to rescue some of these plots by planting Big N Beasty in the soybean plots that just didn't grow. I've been using the hot zone fence system for a number of years now, and we've had really good success with it. Whether we put it around beans or around corn, it's done well to keep the deer out and give those plants an opportunity to really get going. And with beans, it's mostly critical when the bean is fairly small. You know, as it starts to get bigger, especially if you get sufficient rainfall, it can handle some deer pressure. But you know, you get the young plant and the deer just pretty much decimate the field when the bean is small. And it's an inexpensive solution, and you can almost guarantee yourself that you're going to have a plot. So on this side, on your right, my left, you can see the beans that are inside the fence. We're on the upper end of that same little field that I was at earlier. It must have had a little bit better moisture up here for some reason, because they definitely took off and grew here. You can see there's a lot of beans here. I mean, there's an actual crop of beans here. Now, I'm gonna have Zach pan across. Now you can look out into the rest of the field outside of the fence. There's a ton of beans there. I mean, I remember when I planted this and I came back and looked at it a couple weeks later, there was really, really good germination. So I know the stand of beans was really good there. But if you look at it, they're all about this tall. The deer have just mowed them off. So that shows you the impact that the hot zone fence has and how it fits into the management plan. But I also noticed about 30 yards over there, Scott's got a little licking tree. So here's his redneck blind, there's his licking tree, and he's got a trail camera, a little muddy camera pointing at that licking tree. I think I'm gonna go over there and pee on the ground underneath that tree and see if I can get these deer fired up. I didn't ask Scott permission to come down here and do this, so the first time he sees this is gonna be if he's watching the episode. So if you're watching, Scott, sorry. Well, that's it for this episode. I appreciate you joining me. We're coming back every Monday now, from here right on through the middle of January, just like we do every year. And we're gonna have the same style of format that we had last year, where we had my video blog, the public land video blog, Jared and Mike over in the urban zone in eastern Iowa, and Greg Clements is gonna have his own video blog. But we're changing up how the regionals are done this year. We're not gonna have weekly episodes on the regionals. We're gonna produce those as daily video blogs too. So you'll be able to follow along with some of those teams a little bit more closely. There's gonna be a lot more stories to keep up with on Midwest Whitetail this year than there ever has been in the past. So keep coming back, keep checking it out, you know, how we find these deer, how we pattern these deer, how we hunt these deer, and hopefully at some point along the way, how we even kill these deer. Well, I appreciate you joining me. I'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail, and remember to always dream big.